Hello, welcome to Moonlit Justice Oracle. I'm here to do a automatic writing, I guess we'll call it a review, for Divine Masculine. This one's very different for the most part. I mean, they're kind of the same, but it was very different of an experience than doing the Divine Feminine one. I think it's because I intentionally set out to do a channeled automatic writing message for Divine Masculine versus the more open-ended intention I had with Divine Feminines. But let me see. There's a couple things I wanted to cover before starting. And where was I going to start with this? I came in thinking I know exactly what I'm going to say at first, and now it's gone, and that's fine. That's a big part of today's message, what we're going to cover here. It's like, essentially, there's two different energies here, right? Energy 1 and energy 2. And I believe these are separate people or collectives, etc. The first one is more like linear thinking, and the second one is more, it's like the difference between a neurotypical person and a neurodivergent person. Because we get into a lot of like the differences and anyways, where was I gonna go? Oh yes. So like with Divine Feminine's reading that I did, right? It was very like flowy, I guess. Flowy. And this, I don't know how well you can see this. I should get a Sharpie. So with Divine Feminine's reading, when I was getting messages and writing them down, it was very like this curvy path, and it was all in order. And then in this one, it started out very like, and I think this is the energy 1 that started it out. It's like it started with energy 1 and ended in energy 2. It started out very like linear. Everything, I even mentioned, because this is where I started over here, and I'm like, it started out very organized and clear. And then on this side, I'm like, this is a crazy mess. It's like two different minds. Two different, like, ways of, what is that, like, perceiving. Perceiving, interpreting. I before E except after C, is that right? Perceiving? That looks wrong to me. Perceiving? Different way of perceiving. Different way of thinking, different way feeling, expressing. Yeah, so it's like it all starts with these two different ways of perceiving something. Expressing, it's like the general, like, two very different energies when it comes to like navigating the world, essentially, because it all starts as an inner process. Oh, this is reminding me, worlds apart. Didn't I write that? Yeah, worlds apart. It's like two very okay, this is all gonna make sense. Anyways, energy 1. It's like this is their path. This is where they're gonna start, and this is their destination. And this is also written here. Also, I tried to zoom. I tried to get this as clear as possible. This is the absolute best it can get with this camera. So, I apologize. This is as good as it's gonna get at this point. Alright, so energy 2, or energy 1. This is where they start, this is their goal, this is how they go about doing it. That's the natural way for them, for how their brain's set up, right? Energy 2, on the other hand, and to me, this makes a lot of sense. This is how my brain works. It's like energy 2. This is where they're starting, and this is their goal. And it's like they end up doing this wild, like, roundabout way. But it's natural for them, and it's the most, like, beneficial for them, for who they are and how they operate, right? So it's like we have these very two different ways of perceiving, thinking, feeling, expressing, navigating the world in general. And somehow both of those energies are involved here. And I found when I started doing this message, I started off in a very linear way. And I kept like, so with automatic writing, right, you're on this path, you start getting things, then you kind of like take a turn here, and in Divine Feminine's reading, I just follow that, right, and it led to a more non-linear path. But for this one, I kept stopping myself. Resuming on the linear path, going this way, stopping myself. And it ended up looking, and you'll see that at the beginning of this message, it's very like we're going somewhere. And my energy, my mind, right? What I was feeling, I kept being pulled in different directions, but I'd stop myself and I'd go on the more linear path, right? And eventually it just went wild, and that's where we end up here. And that's when I wrote, "This is a crazy mess," which is not like me, because the crazy mess I'm referring to is very like the way my mind works. It's very like understandable to me. But from someone who maybe has a more linear way of thinking or perceiving, it would be like chaos, right? Which I found interesting. And I found interesting how I kept like forcing myself to follow this linear path. And it was very uncomfortable, and I felt like, no, but there's more down this path. And there's more down this path. I know there is, but I'd stop myself. So I don't know if there's something about that. And the whole time when I was doing that, I felt like, because when I do messages of any type, right, whether it's automatic writing or if it's with cards, right, my goal is to have a point to it, a reason, a purpose. And while I was on this linear path, I felt like there was no purpose to what I was doing. Like, what's the point of all these random little tidbits I'm getting, right? But I just accepted it. I'm like, okay, maybe the point is that there is no point. The point is that there is no point? Interesting. Question mark? Question marks. There's some question marks in here too. Anyways, linear path. So there's definitely something. There's two different energies here, and both have very different like operating systems in some way. So that's relevant. Perceiving, thinking, feeling, expressing, navigating the world. Okay, so we're going to start off on the linear path that I began on. And this is a whole lot of just random stuff. We'll get into it. It started out very organized and clear. It started off, the first words I wrote, back and forth, back and forth. And that happened because when I sat thinking, just focusing on receiving messages, right? I kept doing this, and I kept looking at what was back here. But I wasn't consciously like paying attention to what was on here. It was the feeling I was getting when I was doing it. And that feeling was like when someone is working on something right here, and there's something behind that they're like comparing or checking in order to proceed over here. Or it's like if someone's copying something from here, they're like being like, okay, this is the sentence, writing it down here. Back and forth, copying, comparing, checking. Yeah, it's like there was a point to me doing this. I wasn't consciously paying attention, because this is Divine Feminine's message, right? Maybe there's something to that. There's something relevant from Divine Feminine's message in this. I don't know. I haven't thought about that yet. Back and forth, and I just kept doing this, and I'm like, why am I doing this? And it was funny, when I was watching Divine Feminine's message, after I did it and recorded and everything, I was just like editing it and watching it. And I noticed I kept doing this. I kept flipping the page and looking. I knew there was nothing back there. This wasn't there at the moment, or at that time. But I kept like doing this, like looking at something. But there was nothing there, and I knew, logically, there's nothing there. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. Dotting I's, crossing T's. So, like, I was getting kind of like a final draft vibe. Like if this is over here is a rough draft, and someone's doing the final draft. And it was like dotting the I's, crossing the T's, right? And then I like wrote it, and they look different. And I was looking at, I don't know if you can see this. Where is it? Right here. It almost looks like the lowercase I is like a person standing, and the T, like, it reminded me of like when someone's standing at a grave. And I don't know what that is. And then I and T. The capital T, the top of the T is eye level with someone. Like a new way of seeing. I said that in somewhere in here. A new way of seeing different, being different, a new perspective in some way. Because it's like it starts as a grave and ends with a new perspective in some way. Okay, the general energy I was picking up at the beginning of this was like this was a good feeling. Whatever was happening here and this was a good feeling. Whatever someone's working on, or whatever they were, I don't know, whatever the point of what they're doing here is. It's like a good feeling and almost like excited. It's like a strange combination of like excited and nervous or something. And then what was I getting? Excited energy. Yeah, there's an emphasis on excited energy over here. Excited, nervous. Then I was getting, like flipping calendar pages on a physical calendar, right? Or like looking through a calendar in some way at like future months or future dates. A day in the future, picking one, like picking a day, or there's something about like, because I wrote good at scheduling and planning, like whatever someone's doing with this calendar, or whatever they're planning, or I don't know, there's something like, and then I wrote really in big letters, capital letters. I wrote that later because I kept getting it. It's like someone's naturally good at like itinerary, like planning, or like the steps, and that makes sense with this more linear way of thinking. Because I have the X here, the destination, and then there's 6 steps. There's 6 steps in between that. And it's like, this is energy 1. They're very good at something about scheduling and planning. And I was like, okay, what's the point of talking about this? And I'm like, there might be something about that being, I don't know, valuable in some way, or I don't know. Scheduling, planning, day in the future, picking a day, planning something for a day in the future in some way. And again, this is with excited energy, so this is like a positive thing, or... And then under excited energy, I wrote it's okay in parentheses, and I underlined it several times. I emphasized it. So it's like, I don't know if there's, like, when someone starts feeling excited, or something like that, or like looking forward to something, there's a part of them that like tries to like pull that back or suppress it in some way. And I was like, when I was writing it's okay, I felt like it's okay to be excited. It's okay to let yourself be excited in some way, or it's okay to look forward to something in some way. Freedom, sweet freedom, sweet sweat. That's when I wrote nervous. Sweet sweat. Freedom, sweet free, and then there's like this bird flying out of a cage. I don't know if you can see that. Bird flying out of a cage. I think, yeah, it's right there. Bird flying out of a cage. Freedom. So I don't know if whatever this like plan or whatever's going on that we've discussed so far, if that's like part of freedom in some way, sweet freedom. I say sweet freedom to my best friend a lot. That's something we say because it's like when we're somewhere we don't want to be, or if we'd rather be freedom. Like we use it in regard to like work. Like I made it to sweet freedom, being I made it to the end of my work day and now I'm free. You know, it's like free to live one's life without being like forced to be somewhere in some way. Okay, then I kept seeing like a wristwatch running late, but it's okay. But it's okay keeps appearing. And we'll talk about that more when we get down here. But it's okay. Wristwatch running late, but it's okay. And again, this is excited energy. Oh yeah. Letters A, O, K might mean something, as well as Nikki, Nicole, Nick, Nicholas, something like that. Let's see. Okay, I think we've covered all this. Really good at scheduling and planning. Map, route, travel, directions. Yeah, and then I wrote this weird, like, I'm gonna do it again on here. I don't know, it's almost like a constellation, but I originally saw it as, like, points on a map. Like on a physical map. On a physical map, when you, like, I don't know, do people still do this? When you'd... But to me, this looks like a constellation, but I originally saw it as a map. Oh, funny, there's 4 dots. Oh, the number 4. Damn it. 4 keeps popping up. So, this is how I originally saw it. Oh, wait. And it's like, it starts here. It goes this way. What would that be? What would that be? Let me work on my backwards here. So it starts here, and then it goes like what? Southwest, and then west, and then northwest. Southwest, west, northwest. Interesting. Yeah. But to me, that's a whatchamacallit? A constellation of sorts. But originally I saw it as like a map, like points on a map as part of some kind of route, travel, directions. The number 4 is really significant for some reason. I don't know why. What else? Then we got question. Excited, nervous, and then question. I thought question, and I'm like, my immediate thought was a song by Moody Blues called Question. And also I should mention that in this portion, I kept getting like sibling vibes in a more reminiscent, nostalgic kind of way. Because a lot of the things that came up as I was writing were things that are involved in like really good memories I have with my sister. Mostly little things that are just like seemingly insignificant moments, or like moments that aren't necessarily a big deal, but to me they have like a really like profound meaning, or they're very special to me in some way. And throughout, I just kept getting sibling vibes. Question, Moody Blues. There's a lot to that song. And then I just wrote like random lyrics, and that's where the number 4 started coming out. I'm looking for someone to change my life. I'm looking for a miracle in my life. Someone being a miracle or life-changing in some way. And then sister. Oh, yeah, because it was reminding me of my sister. Because then for a question, right, we were sitting in her car. I was in the passenger seat and she was in the driver's seat. I think we were just sitting in a parking lot. And that song was on, and like we always go nuts with this song. And I say we always go nuts. I don't remember how it began. But we get really into like just going nuts with the song. And that's one of my favorite memories. And whenever I hear this song, I always think of her and how much, because in that moment, right, we were just two sisters sitting in a car. How old were we? How old would we have been? This is maybe like 16 years ago or so. Mid-20s. Mid to late 20s. Sitting in a car, singing along to Question by Moody Blues, right? Simple. But to me, it was more, it's important to me because we were together and sharing just an honest experience and having fun, feeling comfortable enough to be our genuine, authentic selves in that moment. You know what I mean? And it's a very like those who have good relationships with their siblings in some way. There's this bond that I don't know words for right now, but there's a bond where it's like you get each other in some way, or there's something about that. Like it's just easy to be yourself in some way. There's like some like understanding of each other, and I think that's because of like, I don't know, siblings. A lot of the times they grow up together. A lot of the times they've gone through their life phases together in some way. And I think that creates this like a unique bond. So that was the general vibe I kept getting here in a positive way. And it was a lot of feeling of like reminiscing, nostalgia. And what I was mostly getting was like these certain moments in our lives where there were like significant, I almost said checkpoints, significant changes happening or significant events happening in our lives. So like when I was writing my sister's 40th birthday card, like I was reminiscing and being nostalgic about the good times we shared and writing them in the card and things like that. And like the moments where you reflect on the good times you've shared with people. And then what else? Oh yeah, when she got married, it's like a significant major event happening in her life, right? And it's like those moments where you like reminisce on, wow, because my little sister, she just got married, you know. She found someone that she wants to marry. To me, that was very, very important, and I was very happy for her. Anyway, that's the general vibe I'm getting up here, so I'll continue. Sister, good times, close bond, shared memories, wisdom, time, secrets of our souls is another part of this Question song. Secrets to learn as we grow old, the secrets of our souls. It's like learning throughout time as we age, as we experience more life. I don't know, there's something about this. Two weirdos, but it's okay. But it's okay keeps coming out. But it's okay. Two weirdos, but it's okay. It's like that's how we were in the moment where we were in her car singing like weirdos. But it's okay. It was good. It was good times. And with that, I did this random like shape around it, and it reminded me of a gummy worm. Gummy worms could be significant in some way. Gummy worms, question mark? And that shows up later. Worms. Let's see. Where else did we go after that? Reminiscing, nostalgia. That led me to, oh yeah, then I noticed I don't pay that much attention to this stuff, but when I notice it, and I go with it. And it's like, I noticed F-O-R, was written twice. So I wrote 4. And then I wrote 4 squared, like 4 with a small 2 next to it, 4 squared, math. 4 times 2, 8. Great. Rhyming poems, songs. Rhyming poems and songs. There's something about maybe some kind of like creative expression or something like that. Musical instrument. Musical instrument. Funny memories of the youth and past. Oh, I wrote that. Musical instrument. The song "O Fortuna" or "O for" I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know I almost said sings it. Who composed it? It's like this classical ass song that it's like if someone doesn't know it automatically, if they heard that commonly heard part of it. Oh wait, I can stop flipping it over because I think I'm gonna do it. You're gonna be seeing it where this is the bottom and this is the top. This is the song, and this song. I mean, I've seen it used for like when someone makes a video or something and they have that song playing when like a dramatic or intense thing happens in some way. And I have a funny memory from my past regarding that song because I was in band. I was in band in middle school and high school, but when I was in high school, I forgot what we called them, but we do sleepovers in the school. And this one time, our band group, our like marching, I think it was concert band. I was in both. Concert band, band, music. There's something about music. Music comes up a lot down here. Anyways, high school, sometime. Band. Our concert band collective had a sleepover. And a bunch of us slept on the stage, like an auditorium stage, or a stage in an auditorium. And anyways, so in the morning, our band director, she woke us all up by blasting that song, the O Fortuna. It sounds weird when I say it. Blasting that song to wake us up, and I'll never forget that moment. So that's why I said funny memories of the youth, the past. So I don't know what this energy is, but I was definitely picking it up. And then, okay, 4, right? 4 square. I wrote 4 squared with the 2, right? And then I thought 4 square. Also the number 6. Oh, the 6 comes down over here too. Number 6. It's 4 plus 2, right? 6. Oh no, I wrote 16. That 1 was missing. 16. 16. Interesting. Although 4 plus 2 does equal 6, huh? 4 squared is 16. Am I right? I don't know, it's been a minute. 4 square. I don't know what that is, so I had to look it up. It's like a travel app of some sort. It provides guidance or something like that for traveling. 4 square. 4 square. And then I drew this little graph. Not graph, this little image. I don't know if you can see that. But it's like a square, right? A square with 4 equal squares inside of it. And then I was like, that looks like a window. A window, looking out a window. Someone likes to look out windows. Pondering peaceful. The letter P. P. Pondering peaceful. Like the feeling of like looking out a window in a pondering peaceful way. And then to be 4 square, I found out. To be 4 square, being firm, solid, unwavering in one's opinions, support, or stance. And then that connected with like passenger driver, like being because I got driving, right? Driving, and then passenger, being a passenger in a vehicle in some way, or not having control over the wheel in some way. Passenger driver. And then I thought, what was that? I thought backseat driver. Backseat driver. Controlling, hates not being in control. So like people who try to like control the driver in some way, or they don't trust the driver, they don't trust I don't know, they feel like they need to control what that driver is doing in some way for whatever reason. Okay, being in control. And I think that was pretty much the end of this top portion. Then we get more into like a playful, childlike energy. Playful, childlike energy. And then I wrote, oh my goodness, hashtag sibling vibes. Now, but I mentioned ironic hashtag # use because I've never embraced the hashtag. I use it ironically to be funny with people. So like, I don't know. If I'm talking to someone, like my best friend, let's say, I'll say like hashtag blessed, or like we'll use it in like an ironic way. I think it's a # to me. It's a #. And then I started thinking of well, like inside jokes, right? And this goes along with the general vibe I was getting, where it's like someone who you have a close bond with, and you've got like inside jokes and like you get each other in some way. But then once I started talking about the #, I was like landline phones, long cord, like anyone who, I don't know, I mean landline phones still exist, right? But like, I think that because I'm thinking back to like teenage years and like preteen years, and like when we had landline phones, and that was a big deal to have a landline phone, right? Because like only one person can talk on the phone. You gotta like fight with your siblings over who gets to use the phone. It's got that cord, could be a very long cord, and like the drama that would ensue with cords on the landline phones, or like getting twisted up in them, ducking under them if someone else is on the phone and you're trying to like get past. I don't know, there's something about that. The long cord. What's that look like? The landline cord. I used to play with the landline cord. It's like a swirly loop. A coil. Interesting. Coil. Something about landline phones. Funny and random, silly kind of energy. It's like a random kind of funny or silly when it comes to like this bond or like this sibling energy. And I kept feeling like when I was talking about this, or not when I was talking about it, when I was writing it down, I was getting the sense like it's an important energy to like not let go of. And that feeling makes a lot more sense when we get over here. Because when we get over here, we start talking about not the land before time, I almost said. The land before time. I'm getting a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies and music. Music and movies. I feel like it's kind of trivial to suggest that someone likes movies and music, because a lot of people friggin' like music and movies, right? The land before time. Oh, man. Okay. The land before time. The Land of the Lost? Now that's a movie right there. That's one of my favorite movies. The Land of the Lost. I don't know, is there an older version of it? I like the newer one with Will Ferrell. The Land of the Lost. We're talking dinosaurs. There's dinosaurs here. Dinosaurs. Dinos. Okay. Dinosaurs. Anyways, where was I going? Where was I going with this? Ah, yes, it's over here we're talking about the childlike empress from, what's it called? The Neverending Story. Like down here we get Neverending Story, and it's like that's where oh wait, that's where I went from this more linear but tempted path into the like full on we're going with this. the childlike empress from the Neverending Story, and the whole, there's a lot to the movie The Neverending Story, the book as well. I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie. Anyways, there's some importance about this childlike or playful, more lighthearted energy. It's significant in some way, or it's like an energy to hold on to or not lose in some way. We'll get more into that. Anyways, but it's okay. I eventually, I'm not going to say I got fed up, but it's okay. Like, there's something about that. So I wrote blank, ... but it's okay. And the feeling I was getting was more of like when we force ourselves to say, but it's okay. Or like a forced kind of, not forced, intentional mentality of, what did I write? Radical acceptance. Like acceptance. Acceptance. Accepted. Radical acceptance, or just a general, like, letting things go kind of energy. But it's okay. But on the other hand, it's choosing to ignore things, or like letting people get away with things. But it's okay. That person, I don't know, did something bad, but it's okay. Or like that person hurt me in some way, but it's okay. Which, I mean, it's got its pros and its cons, its light attributes, its shadow attributes, right? The shadow attribute, we're letting people get away with hurting us, not holding them accountable, not expressing that their actions have affected us in some way or behaviors affect us. But on the light side, it's like not holding on to any like negative-ish energy, like resentment or pain or suffering, like more of a forgiving kind of energy. So I don't know what that is, but it's okay. Reminiscing nostalgia. A lot of that. Let's see, acceptance. Yeah. Then I started getting like major changes, and I underlined major. I emphasized it. I emphasized major. Major change. And I was getting that again I was thinking about all the times that I felt like when I'd reminisce and feel nostalgic about my sister and I, like our bond growing up and things like that, the things we've gone through together. It's like those feelings came out when major changes were happening, or milestones. That was the word I was looking for, milestones. Milestones. Going with the flow, changes, transitions, and then more of a going with the flow kind of feeling. Changes, transitions, going with the flow. And this is kind of reminding me of like this is going to be more relevant later on, but the linear way, right? The linear way. And it's, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it until we're there. Yes, then we had, I wrote, I don't remember when I did this, but I think I did this around, I think it was after major changes, transitions, going with the flow. Yeah, because I wrote X, like the starting point and the destination or the goal. And then I wrote 6 lines representing the path, right? And 6, it's like the in-between stage. To me, 6 represents, because I see 5 as like conflict or challenges or obstacles, right? To me, 6 is like with 6 of Swords and Tarot, and 6 of Cups is also like a reminiscing, nostalgic kind of card. 6 of Swords, 6 of Cups, 6 of Wands, victory, success, 6 of Pentacles, reciprocity in some way, giving, receiving, equality. But 6, it's like getting out of conflict, or like getting to like overcoming the obstacles and challenges and getting to the part after that where it's calmer and things flow more naturally in some way. But I kept getting like the in-between stage of this journey. The in-between stage. And then I was like, okay, journey. The process or the band? And I mistook, because my first thought was Carry On My Wayward Son. And then I realized that's not journey, that's Kansas. And carry on my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are done. And I'm kind of getting it's like overcoming obstacles and challenges and getting to the more peaceful parts of a journey in some way. It's like not giving up, right? And then I got Don't Stop Believing, which is journey. Don't stop believing. It's all part of the process, cycles, changes, right? Transitions. It's like not giving up during times of change, major change, transitions. Part of the process, cycles, change. And then I drew the circle again, but in this, hold on a second. And never-ending cycle, supply demands. As below, so above. What she does here below makes an impact above. Same thing here, but it's, so Divine Feminine's message included this a lot. I knew I was going to need another piece of paper. And it's always clockwise, huh? To me, clockwise represents going in like the natural flow of things. Whereas if these arrows were, it was like going against the current in some way. Anyway, so Divine Feminine kept getting this circle. And then for this one, for Divine Masculine, it's similar, but it's more like this, with the separate little steps. Separate steps. It's less of a non-stop, consistent movement, and it's more of a steps in the process. And I think that's going to make sense when we get into what we get over here maybe. Or there's something about it that makes me feel like it might make sense. What is this reminding me of? It's like instructions. It's like, cut here. This is where you cut. This is the dotted line in which you... Oh, connect the dots. That reminds me of connect the dots too. Connect the dots. This is getting interesting. I mean, it's been interesting, but it's taken an interesting turn here. Connect the dots, cut here, like instructions, or, and like with the energy that I was getting before of this, right? Like looking at something over here and doing it here. It's almost like following a pattern, like a sewing pattern, or I don't know how that works. Or like it's working off of something that's already been created, or working off of someone else's instructions or something like that. Or like, what am I getting? Because it's like I could see this circle. This is more of the natural, like organic experience in some way. Organic experience. And it's almost as if this one with cut here, right? It's almost like this is instructions for following that same instructions for same experience or a similar experience. Oh, I love writing with a Sharpie. Anyway. Instructions for same experience, and then with connect the dots, right? You're given an image, like I'm just gonna do something real random but sweet. It's like you're given this image, right? I don't know if you can see that. And it's like, okay, here's number 1, here's number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's your picture. Connect the dots. Yeah, so it's like doing something, and I'm getting this energy again. Doing something where you're looking at what's already here, and you're doing it, you're replicating it here, or there's something about that. Interesting. Okay. Do 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 do. Do do do. Where's my pen? Oh, there's my pen. Okay. Worlds Apart. That's right, Journey. Another song of Journey's is Worlds Apart. I can't say I've ever heard that song, but maybe if I've heard it, I'll know it. I don't know. But Worlds Apart. Worlds Apart. And then feeling far apart or distance, not letting this stop you. Don't stop believing. And then we got Dust in the Wind, which is kind of relevant over here with the Neverending story. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Part of the process. Cycles, changes. Yeah, it's kind of like inevitable changes, transitions even. Like, it's part of life, part of the natural process. So I'm not sure what it is. I don't know why I'm getting, because this was in Divine Feminine's reading message, and now this is how it's coming out for Divine Masculine. It's like either a different way of going about it, a similar experience or process. This is steps, following certain steps, or this is like recreating something about Divine Feminine's process. Interesting. Okay. Feeling far apart, distance. So yeah, worlds apart, right? Worlds apart. Feeling a great distance in some way, feeling far apart. Worlds apart. Don't stop believing. Changes, going with the flow. Not letting this stop you. That's right, and that's when I drew this circle. The circle with the separate steps. Not letting this stop you. Feeling far apart, distance. Not letting this stop you. And that's where the relevance of this comes in. And I'm not sure what that is yet. Maybe it'll make sense to those watching or later on. Alright. And then, am I missing something? Oh yeah, the gummy worm. The gummy worm makes a little more sense, because it's like with the gummy worm, right? It's the gummy worm. I feel like there's a lot to this gummy worm that I'm just not getting into. Gummy worm. That's a friggin' gummy worm, right? And what I ended up drawing was, because with the shape over here, two weirdos, but it's okay. The gummy worm, it resembled this path to me. It's like a path or a way that is not linear, or like, because this energy number 1 that I was talking about, right? It's more of a, like if number 2 is out of the box thinking, number 1 is more like structured, logical. And there was something about the worm, the gummy worm, and then I split it in half, because gummy worms, right? Like part of it is one, this is from my understanding. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw or experienced a gummy worm. It's been decades. But aren't they like half one color and half the other? I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyways, that's what I ended up drawing here with gummy worms. Two weirdos, but it's okay. And then to me, gummy worms, I'm not saying only children eat them, but to me, gummy worms are like a kid's thing. A more like youthful thing. Anyways, where are we going with this? Never-ending story. So after I drew this circle, I got Neverending Story, and that's where all of this came from. From Neverending Story, I thought of two things. 1984. 1984 could mean something to someone. That's the year the movie was made. Or that's the year the movie came out. 1984 turns into 22. 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4 is 22, which is 4. Again with the 4. And 22, 422 could mean something to someone. And then Wolfgang. That was the first name of the director, I believe, who made the movie. Wolfgang. And then Wolfgang. And then Wolfpack. I don't know what I was getting with that. I rolled with wolf. Wolf howling at the moon. And I started thinking of the moon and like Pisces Cancer energy, right? To me, the moon is shared by like Pisces and Cancer. Wolf. The wolf. I know in the Neverending Story, the wolf, I wrote nightmares because I associate the wolf, again, we're talking childhood or youth, right? The wolf scared the shit out of me when I was a kid because I was very young when I first saw this movie. And that wolf, like, was a permanent part of my youth. I'd have nightmares. I had reoccurring nightmares of that wolf, like, existing in the backyard of our home. Backyard childhood, something about the backyard and childhood, nightmare. Anyways. And then 1984, right? I started thinking of the book, the movie, Big Brother, and then brother, right? More sibling vibes. Constant surveillance. This is just my like knowledge of this movie, book. I've never read the book. I own the book. I've never read it. I've seen the movie. Totalitarian rule. Rebelling against totalitarian rule. So ruling every single thing about people's lives, right? Having control, having authority over everyone's decisions and actions, etc. Rebelling against that system. Changing records to support lies. I know the guy did that. He changed records to support like the government's lies in some way. Forbidden love is an aspect of it. Rebelling again. So rebelling against the system, rebelling with like unforbidden, rebelling with forbidden love in some way. Big Brother. Okay, Neverending Story. So the Neverending Story, right? I don't remember where I stopped. That's right, I covered this. So essentially, from my memory, the point or the plot of the movie is that Bastian / Atreyu, they're saving the childlike empress from the nothing. And the nothing is, in my understanding, hopelessness, depression, despair, and chaos. And the nothing is what is destroying Fantasia. Fantastica in the book, but Fantasia in the movie. And it's like saving the childlike empress from the nothing. Fantasia represents the power of human imagination, hopes, dreams, and memories. When these start to fade, Fantasia begins to vanish into the nothing. Yeah, so it's like loss of hope, loss of imagination, loss of dreaming, memories. So that's kind of like the like reminiscing nostalgia, like good memories, dreams, hopes, creative imagination. When that starts to fade, Fantasia starts to fade because the nothing gains the power. It's like the nothing is the darkness. I wanted to say taking away the light, but that's not how darkness works. Darkness can't take away the light. Why am I thinking of this? I have something written in my notes from years ago. I'm going to read it. It's all about light and dark, or the light and the darkness. This is before I had the mentality or perspective of like needing to integrate both of those aspects within us. It was more from a standpoint of seeing darkness as negative and destructive, and then light as like the opposite. This is a war after all. These hateful people are weak in the heart and mind, living in and from the darkness. They have a limited perspective of this world, and they are allowing only the darkness to work through them. In this war, they are no competition for us. We are strong-willed and focused on positivity, love, growth, the well-being of humanity, and we can see the bigger picture. They can't dim our light, no matter what they do or how hard they try. It's impossible for darkness to overpower light. That's what I was getting with this. It's impossible for darkness to overpower light. Light has always had the true power over darkness, and it always will. The hateful know this, or they will figure it out eventually. They've been trying to make us feel like they are the ones in control because they know that the only way they can defeat us is to trick us, to intimidate us, to threaten us into surrendering our light. They need us to extinguish it ourselves because they can't take it away. The darkness will never have true power and control over the light. And it's like, it makes sense to me because it's like you've got a dark room, right? That room is dark because there is no light. Light can shine into darkness. Light can eliminate darkness. Ooh, look at the different colors on my hands. This one looks dead. It's because of the light outside. It's very cloudy. Okay, anyways. Living hands. What was I saying? Yeah. So light can shine into the darkness, right? Light has the power to lighten a dark room. That dark room doesn't have the power to get rid of light. The darkness has no power over light, in my opinion. The darkness only gets power by convincing the light to stop shining in some way. And that's kind of what I was getting with the nothing destroying Fantasia, right? It's like the nothing can only destroy Fantastica, when people surrender that light, when they lose hope, when they succumb to despair and depression, the chaos, hopelessness. That's how the darkness, that's how the nothing wins. That's how it can destroy. By the light giving up the light in some way, surrendering it. By following our purpose, our lights are becoming too bright for the hateful to bear. They can't figure out why they haven't been able to stop us, why our lights can't be extinguished, and why we're only shining brighter and brighter. Eventually they will have to stop focusing on us. They will have to look away from us and look within themselves to see what our light is revealing in their darkness. They will have no choice. They will realize that by trying to harm us, they've only harmed themselves. Feeding on our fears and suffering has only poisoned them further, filling them with more darkness and toxicity. And they will have to acknowledge their sickness, their tainted perspectives. When we stopped being afraid and miserable, they could no longer feed on us. They began to starve. As the hunger grows, and as the toxicity within them leaves them feeling unwell, they'll wonder what's wrong. By allowing the darkness to work through them, to use and abuse them, they will realize that they allowed themselves to be tricked into believing that we are their enemies. We are not their enemies. They are their own enemies, and because our light illuminates their darkness, they want to lash out and harm us. What lurks within their shadows does not want to be exposed, and it tricks them into believing that we are the enemy and we need to be destroyed. As their existence starts crumbling, they'll wonder why it's all happening. As our light grows brighter and brighter, they will be forced to see the truth in their shadows. They've been destroying themselves by trying to destroy us. This is part of their collective's lessons to learn, and the darkness needs to learn that it cannot extinguish the light. Darkness and lightness must exist together in this world, just as it must within ourselves, as part of a necessary duality, a required balance. So apparently I did understand that. Interesting. It's kind of reminding me of Divine Feminine's automatic reading.